Hi friends, I wanted to come on and speak to what is happening cosmically in relation to what is happening here on Earth, because as above, so below, and there's so much heightened energy right now as we've been witnessing here on Earth, and it's really being stirred up by a lot of activity in the cosmos as well. So the first thing coming in, where are we today? Thursday. So tomorrow, June 5th, 4th, 5th, 4th, is going to be the full moon. That comes in with a lunar eclipse. So the full moon is falling at 15, and the eclipse is falling at 15 degrees of Sagittarius. So when we have a lunar eclipse coming in with the full moon, it's potent, high energy. And it's in this fiery, impulsive, reactionary, enthusiastic, passionate sign of Sagittarius. So those particular traits and energies are heightened and shining down on us. This full moon is also squaring Mars, which brings in an exact square. 15 degrees of Sagittarius is the moon, and 15 degrees Pisces is Mars. So it's an exact square, and this brings in, Mars is the warrior, the fighter, the one on the battlefield, fighting for justice, fighting for what we're passionate about, what we believe in. And when it's squaring the moon, especially a full moon and especially a lunar eclipse, this brings in unexpressed anger. This brings in intense energies. Anything that's been kind of like bubbling below the surface has a chance of coming out and being expressed. But because it's a square, it can be expressed in risky ways or dangerous ways or reactionary ways. We're triggered and we react. We don't take time to pause. Mars isn't good at taking a moment and thinking about it. Mars is action. Mars is forward movement. So I think just having the awareness that there's impulsiveness in the air and reactionary emotions in the air, I think it helps us to take a pause and think before reacting, but it's going to be a lot harder with this full moon and eclipse squaring Mars. What else do I want to tell you? I took some notes here. And the moon is opposing Venus as well. The moon is opposing Venus, and the lunar eclipse is opposing Venus. So this is a feeling of, we really want love and affection and somebody to understand our heart or to have that connection with. We want it to the point, because it's in opposition, to the point where we don't care who we get it from. It's kind of like lowering our standards just to get that affection. So keep that in mind within your romantic impulses or love connections. Wanting love, wanting affection, but also there's a little bit of like tension in how to give it and how to receive it as well during this full moon. So the lunar eclipse, it's like a regular full moon, only totally stronger, completely amplified. There's emotional, because the moon rules our emotions, there's emotional peaks are reached. Emotional expression is going to be really amplified and intense. But what else is amplified is our instincts and our intuition and our feeling world as well. And with it being in Sagittarius right now, it's kind of like this wanderlust sets in, this need for adventure, this need to feel freedom and not be met by restrictions or limitations, or it's like wanting to stretch your limbs and not be met by walls. And because it's fiery, we have a way of expressing that and taking risks and getting that. So you can see that acting out here right now, right? And I think it's just going to get stronger as we move into the weekend. And usually with the full moon and lunar eclipses, we start to feel that energy build about a week before they happen. So if you think about it, the protests coming in last weekend, earlier this week, and everything's building. And I think this weekend it's going to be really strong and powerful and potent here. So we're starting eclipse season, and you may have heard that phrase before, eclipse season. So we have an eclipse, a lunar eclipse tomorrow. We have a solar eclipse June 21st, and then we have another lunar eclipse July 4th. So when we're in this eclipse season, things just feel really heightened, especially now this is where you have to know your chart a little bit. 15 degrees Sagittarius. If you have your chart, you look at your natal wheel, the natal chart, you find if you yourself have any personal planets at 15 degrees Sagittarius, and that is a really big trigger right there. If the full moon or the eclipse are activating any of your personal planets. For me, it's landing on my sun. Just kind of a big deal if it affects your sun, your moon, or your rising sign. So I want you guys to look for 15 degrees of Sagittarius, but also 15-ish degrees of Gemini, 15-ish degrees of Virgo, 15-ish degrees of Pisces. If you guys have any of those as personal planets, especially sun, moon, and rising, this full moon and this eclipse are really bringing in potent things for you to be really awake and aware of and conscious about. So whatever the theme in your life is right now, especially if you have Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, or Sag around 15 degrees, I would give it like a 5-degree orb. Pay attention to what's going on right now. It's going to be the theme for you for this eclipse season. So yes, as above, so below, and we're seeing it play out, the potency of it, the amplification of it. But you know, Sag also has a lightness to it, and we're able to find the lightness in the heavier times. But we also find that courage and the bravery to show up and fight for truth, fight for what we believe in. So that will really help us and aid us too as we show up and really speak up and use our voices in this more fiery sort of a way, like not putting up with any more bullshit. That is very Sagittarian. So enjoy this big energy. Full moon in Sag, lunar eclipse in Sag, 15 degrees of Sagittarius. And I'll come back in as the energies build and we approach the next eclipse, which is a solar eclipse. Okay, you guys, thanks for watching. I hope that was helpful. All right, bye.